Hello everyone, you are on the Auto Advisor channel. Here we talk about the car construction and its parts in simple words. Today we will talk about an intercooler. So, the intercooler is designed to reduce the temperature of the air entering the engine. The lower the air temperature, the higher its density, and the higher the air density, the more air enters the engine and engine power increases. Let's look at the physics of the process with a simple example. Let's say I have two glasses of air. This glass is at a temperature of 0 degrees, and this glass is at 100 degrees. The blue balls represent air molecules. In fact, air molecules are always in motion. Here I have, marked black, the direction of their movement. At low temperatures, the speed of movement is relatively small, and therefore the air molecules are close to each other and thus occupy a smaller volume. With an increase in temperature, as in the second glass, the speed of movement of the molecules increases, and they begin to bump into each other with greater force, and at the same time occupy a larger volume. So at low temperatures, more air molecules fit in the glass than at high temperatures. In other words, the mass of air in this glass is greater than the mass of air in this one. Mass 1 is greater than mass 2. As for the internal combustion engine, it turns out that when the intercooler cools the air, more air molecules enter the engine. And if more air molecules enter the engine, then more of the air-fuel mixture burns and the higher the engine power. When using an intercooler, engine power can be increased by as much as 20%. In most cases, the intercooler is used on engines that have a turbocharging system. Here I have a conditionally depicted turbine. This is an intercooler, and this is an internal combustion engine. Here is how the intercooler is pictured on the board. Everything works as follows. The turbo compresses the air, and its temperature rises to about 150 to 100 degrees. This hot air enters our intercooler. Hot air moves through the intercooler tubes and then becomes cooler. On the output, we get cooled air by about 50–70 degrees, and this already cooled air enters directly into the cylinders of our engine. According to the method of air cooling, the intercooler can be divided into two types. The first type is air-to-air. Here I have an air-to-air intercooler. It works as follows. Hot air enters, for example, into this hole. The hot air flowing through the tubes is cooled by incoming airflow when the car is moving. That is, when the car moves, the incoming air blows over the intercooler, and then we get cooled air inside the tubes. So air-to-air intercoolers are heat exchangers that transfer heat from the intake air directly to the atmosphere. Therefore, they are called air-to-air. This type of intercooler is usually installed at the front of the car in order to have more access to incoming airflow. An air-to-liquid intercooler is the second type and is usually installed in gasoline engines and can be located anywhere in the engine compartment, since it no longer needs an incoming airflow, but it needs a coolant. There are several main intercooler malfunctions. The first malfunction is mechanical damage to the intercooler itself. The second malfunction is the clogging of the cells. And the third malfunction is the corrosion of these tubes when the intercooler begins to let hot air through. In order to choose the right intercooler for your car, as well as any other spare parts, go to the site of autoostrov.by. Link will be in the description. So, conclusions. The intercooler is designed to increase engine power. Engine power increase can be up to 20%. In simple terms, an intercooler is a heat exchanger that cools the air entering the engine. Also, the intercooler is one of the first ways to tune the engine. If you ask if you can drive without an intercooler at all, then you can, but it will simply reduce the power of your engine by about 20%. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. and all the best to you. See you soon.